When did you first meet Michael?
I think it was like 1996. I was about 22, 23 years old.
What are the circumstances of you meeting him?
Well, I actually met him through my mother. He and I came together under kind of unique circumstances, but prior to us, he was actually dating my mother.
Was that the extent of the relationship that he had with your mother, dating?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did they go beyond dating?
Yes, they had a kind of spontaneous marriage. Yes, she had,
When did they get married?
I think that was in 97.
So was Michael your stepfather at one point?
I guess technically, however, I didn't look at him that way.
How long were they married?
Just under, well, they were only married, I think, 6 months. They were together a couple years.
So they were together for a couple of years?
Yes.
And how old were you during that time?
22, 23 years old.
What's the age difference between you and Mr. Redlick?
21 years.
So how do we go from stepdad to something else?
Well, my mother and my stepfather had split up after 20 years, and my mom met Michael, and they started dating. And she discovered shortly after they were dating that she had an aggressive stage 4 breast cancer. And she only had so long to live. And so they got married in Vegas. And within 3 to 6 months after that, she passed away. And so they had been living in a home together with my 2 younger siblings. I'm the oldest of 5, actually.
What's the age difference between you and your siblings?
I think the youngest would be 13, so I was like 25 at that point.
So how much older than your sisters are you?
At least a decade, but there's 5 of us, so they fall all in between.
But you're the oldest?
Yes.
Okay. So if you can continue explaining how the relationship between you and Michael goes from step-parent to wife.
So after my mother passed, the 2 younger children were in high school, my younger brother and sister, and they were living in the home with Michael and my mother. And so after she passed, my younger brother went to live with my stepfather, back with him, and Michael had asked me if I wanted to move in, that he would continue to rent the home that they were renting so that my sister could at least finish another year of high school where she was. And so I agreed. And I was working and going to school at the time. And that's kind of how things got started. We were just
What was
friends.
he doing? What was his employment at that time?
I think he was working for the Cavaliers, the Cleveland Cavaliers at that point.
Basketball franchise?
Yes, but then switched over to the Cleveland Browns.
A football franchise?
Yes.
In Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio.
Correct, in Cleveland.
Okay. So did you move into the home?
I did.
How does it progress from there?
Well, I mean, we were just kind of handling the domestic duties with the kids, sort of, and I was working, and he was encouraging me professionally, and sort of became friendly, was very supportive, and, there's time of loss for both of us, and we sort of bonded. And eventually it turned into a romantic relationship. I was going to school and working part-time at one point, or at that time, and he started coming up to the place that I worked. I was a bartender at night, so he started coming up to all the shifts that I was working and just visiting with me. And after that, he started inviting me to do more things together, and we sort of, and I grew to enjoy it, and he was kind of worldly and smart, so these are new and exciting things for me. So at some point, it turned into a romantic relationship.
You say that he was encouraging you professionally. What do you mean by that?
Well, I was young, and like I said, I was going to school. He had a lot of contacts, a huge network, and I think he had introduced me to some of his contacts, and I got my first real professional job, I guess you'd say, through him, and just kind of entering the business world.
Was that in Cleveland as well?
It was in Cleveland, yes.
So we've gone from you moving back in, helping with the domestic duties, to you being at work, him coming to work while you're working and going on dates.
Yes.
And at this point, does it continue to progress into a romantic relationship?
Yes, and that was over a period of time. It didn't, we were friends, and I didn't really look at him that way. It was a couple years at that point before it became a romantic relationship.
Was he still living in Cleveland, or did he ever leave?
He was living in Cleveland, yes.
At some point, did he leave Cleveland?
He did.
Did you guys leave together?
Yes. Well, no, not initially.
Tell the court how that came about.
Well, he was pretty ambitious with his career at that point. He had practiced law for 13 years and went back to school later in life to pursue his passions in sports. And so that's when he started to work for, the Cleveland Browns and the Cavaliers and professional sports teams. And he was looking for other opportunities, and he was moving up in the industry pretty quickly. So there was an opportunity that came upon him to move with the Memphis Grizzlies, an NBA team in Memphis, Tennessee. And he was excited about it, and he actually got the job, and it was a big move up for him.
At the time when he got the Memphis job, were you guys living together?
We were.
Was it your siblings there as well, or was it just you and Michael?
My sister was there, my younger sister, yes.
So when he gets the job, do you move together, or does he move on his own?
He asks me to move with him, but at that point, I hadn't really disclosed to my family that we were actually seeing each other. So I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, just because he had been with my mother, and it was just kind of a little bit weird. So I told him no, that I wanted to also stay back with my entire family lived in Cleveland, so I wasn't willing to do that at that point.
And do you remember what year this would have been?
2000-ish?
2000?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did that change? Did you make it to Memphis?
Yes, at that point, he was buying me plane tickets just about every weekend. And so he was flying me to Memphis and showing me around. And so I think after a year of that, one time he picked me up at the airport and he said he had a surprise, and he took me to a place called Mud Island, where it's a beautiful neighborhood on the Mississippi River in Memphis. And he pulled up to a home, and he went inside, and he said, "I bought this for us." And it was a beautiful house, it had a pool, and it was on the river. And so from there, I went ahead and made the decision to go ahead and move to Memphis.
So you're there on a visit, and he told you that he'd already bought a home for you?
Yes.
Or for you together?
Right.
Okay. At this point, how was the relationship?
It was good. I mean, like I said, odd circumstances how we came together, but it was good. We enjoyed our time together.
And how did the rest of the family view this at that point?
I think the sister that was living with us, I think she took it kind of hard, which I don't blame her. I think people were a little bit shocked, but other than that, didn't have much to say about it.
So you moved to Memphis.
Yes.
You're living with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
How do things progress from there? How's the relationship once you make it to Tennessee?